Anybody want to sing the national anthem to get us started?
I think I'm all right.
You good? Okay.
Gotta save my voice.
I like the joke where it's like, somebody's like, oh man, I forgot the dance moves to the national anthem. And then somebody's like, well, there's a dance for, like, oh yeah, it's, founding fathers had a choreographed. Anyway, we're not here. I always like to throw a curveball to the 11 listeners at the start of the show. No,
I think
we
the
do.
last one got 17.
We do okay. This is just as much for us and you guys as a cast just to get to come in and talk. And for the people that do listen, I think it's pretty cool. So I'm not going to stress. Maybe one day we'll reach 1 million people and then you can say that you were part of the building blocks.
The foundation. We're in the archives.
That's right.
Already.
Congress is beating down my door for digital copies. We have a show coming up. Now, this is a show probably not many people have heard of, Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, so obviously a super famous movie. Was it Rick Moranis that was in
Absolutely.
the famous movie? I just watched Ghostbusters before Halloween, the original, and I was like, oh yeah, there's Rick.
It's my favorite movie.
It's basically the same movie as Little
Yeah,
Shop.
if you close your eyes, everything's the same. So, Little Shop of Horrors, musical.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get too far in, let's just go around. If you just want to say your name, maybe what your character's name is in the show, and if this is your first show or if you're a seasoned vet, just want to tell us who you are.
I guess I'll start, since you're looking at me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. My name's Justin Radford. I play Seymour. This is my first show with the Mineral Arts Mineral Area. See, it's all new.
Yeah, sure.
With MAFA. I'm going to say MAFA. That's a lot easier. But not my first show at MAC. It's actually, I graduated from here a long time ago and did about 13 shows back in the day, and then came back and did a couple more shows, and now I'm here again.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Can't stay away.
Yeah, like a vortex.
As much as he wants to, he
just
can't
yeah.
stay away.
Go ahead.
My name is Michael Cantrell, and I actually play the plant. I play Audrey 2, and I'm not really on the stage except for one scene, but my voice is throughout the show. So it's a lot of fun getting to do voice work in the show. And this isn't my first show with MAFA. I've done a lot of shows with them from the jump. I was over here doing shows, and it's always been a lot of fun. This show is the same, a lot of fun. Great cast in this one again. And it's a real different thing playing the plant, but it's fun.
All right, very cool.
My name is Zabien Gusman. I play multiple parts in this, but mostly I am Oren Scrivello, DDS. I've done about what feels like 20 shows now, but who knows, give or take.
Jason Carr, director. I've done like 15 shows with the Academy.
Okay.
My name's Maddy, and I play Miss Audrey in the show. This is my second show with MAFA, but not. I'm a veteran when it comes to theater, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Great.
My name's Ethan. I play Mushnik, the old Jewish man who runs the shop. Oh, God. I've done 6 shows total. This is my second show with MAFA, and it's been a lot of fun meeting all these new people.
Very cool. So, MAC grad, current MAC students,
Hi.
one.
Like, kind of. I do the dual credit program at Farmington High School.
Okay.
So I'm going to graduate MAC this year. So
okay.
All my classes are through MAC, but I'm still going to high school.
Right, I got you. Yep, nope, makes sense. So I'm very interested in the voice of the plant. So you're off stage.
Yes.
With a microphone.
Yep.
And does the plant have singing parts? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes, the plant sings.
Oh boy, does he sing!
So you're basically
Lovely.
hanging out in the back,
Watching.
just
through the
comfy.
monitor. No, I'm just as stressed as everyone else
You're
because
just
I
as
got to listen
nervous?
to my cues, and I'm helping move stuff backstage. I'm helping make sure scene transitions are going well behind the scenes, and helping the woman who's puppeteering. She's amazing, and she also built a lot of the puppets from scratch, and she's repainting the bigger ones that that have been given to us.
Okay.
And so it's really been nice to work hand in hand with her to really bring the plant to life. While I get to do a lot of animation in terms of the singing and the voice, she's really brought it to life with how she's taken how I'm performing it and bringing those movements to it. It's so much fun to see
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah,
come
I think
together.
in reality, what he's doing is probably a little more difficult because he doesn't have any visual cues. You know,
Sure.
he's got to really just rely on everybody saying their lines at the right time and just going from there and cues strictly from music. You know,
A lot of counting.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
so he has no idea if the person he's supposed to be talking to missed their entrance or not. You know, so he may be talking to a blank stage or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's a lot of trust.
Same
I
with
see.
Liv, our puppeteer. She really has to have a lot of trust in everyone in the cast and Michael. To, we keep doing the same thing every night, so we don't miss any cues. So she's incredible. Just the raw amount of talent every rehearsal is crazy. Like in one of Audrey 2's songs, "Feed Me," she's sitting there with her arms on the top jaw, bottom jaw of the plant. And she's like kicking her feet, which are the roots of the plant, and she's like snapping around and
Spoiler
mouthing
alert.
to everything. But
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that.
That gives me back pain just thinking about operating the plant.
Luckily, she's young. She's a
Okay.
college student.
Gotcha.
She would probably be with us too, but she just had her wisdom teeth cut out yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, and she actually sent one of our cast members a coming off anesthesia video where she was mouthful of gauze, blood running down her
Yeah.
lip, and singing "Suddenly Seymour." So, yeah,
When you got halfway through, I thought you were going to say she's sending people her teeth.
right.
No.
Mail, like-
No, not
We
yet.
asked.
Just yet. Not yet. Not
No, not just a tooth.
Right, yeah.
Like,
just random teeth.
yeah. So I guess we should probably mention when the show is. When is it? When does it start? Now?
The show opens 2 weeks from today. So 21st through 24th, it's the week before Thanksgiving. The Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows are at 6:30, and the Sunday show is at 2 o'clock.
Okay, so we got a 4 performance event. And is it mafinearts.org?
That is correct.
All right, so that is where you get your tickets, mafinearts.org. You can get them at the door, but that's always kind of a gamble.
Correct, yeah. I mean, if there are tickets left, they will be at the door. You can always buy them there, but that's not always a guarantee.
Yeah, so play it safe. Get your tickets online. You got 4 dates to choose from. Sunday's a matinee. And then speaking of that, and I always forget, usually once a show ends, you immediately have
The auditions for the following show.
Is that the case because of winter break?
Is it?
No, we're coming back on December 8th for auditions for The Hobbit, which will be the next show.
Okay, so there's going to be you're going to have a little
few
bit
weeks,
after
yeah.
Yeah, just a couple
Thanksgiving. Okay. So December 8th, that is audition opportunities for the first event in the spring.
Correct, which will be The Hobbit, and that's going to be actually directed by Michael Cantrell.
Okay, very
so
cool.
he will be the guest director. He's already working on stuff for the show. He's got a props and puppets class that they're actually building puppets for the show and, working on the props and all that stuff to get ready for that production. So a lot of work going into it already.
Sure. Very cool.
I love wandering backstage, just looking around and seeing a massive ogre puppet or troll.
It's a troll.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah, get the, what is it, nomenclature? Is that the right word? Get the,
I'm not a big Tolkien head or whatever they're called. I'm sorry.
You should change that.
So, Justin, coming back after, 50 years?
Something like that. Yeah, close to it. It's definitely close to it.
Graduation. Does it feel different with the time off?
Yeah. I mean, it's every show I've ever been in. It's always a little bit different. You step in and you got a new whole cast of people to meet, and new workflows to work around and figure out, and everything's always a little bit different. So, yeah.
Big cast for this or relatively small?
No, for a musical, it's probably our smallest cast so far. We're, I think, right at 20.
Okay. I know we've talked in the past. Some of them can 60, 80.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this one's-
Seussical was 81.
So much more manageable. A lot easier to yell at a small group of people. Do you envision yourself being a really tough director? Iron Fist?
I don't see myself being that way unless we're down to the wire and they're not focused.
Yeah.
Because it's all about trust with the cast and building that trust. And if you show them how much you care about the script, like Jason has with this show, it makes them want to work harder to learn their stuff, and less fights happen that way.
Nothing says tough love like a little taser to help the focus. No, Maddy disagrees.
Not a lot of people.
That sounds
If I were directing, you'd be on your toes.
Hey, in character, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Audrey's character.
So, Maddy, are you someone who prefers musicals and singing, or do you like straight plays? Or
Well, this is my first musical,
Oh, okay.
believe it or not.
all right, cool.
With all other musicals I participated in, I was always tech.
Oh,
And so
gotcha.
I was like, let's try a musical. And so I feel like I'm a fan of musicals more because it's more energy, more bright
Sure.
and stuff. But I feel like plays are also really fun. I think they're really good storytelling and all. But yeah, I feel like musicals are definitely more of my alley. I like musicals a lot.
Very good, very good. So you're excited for your first ever show.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm very excited. I'm also really nervous. Very
Yeah.
nervous. But
She's the perfect Audrey.
She just shifted gears pretty hard there.
Yeah. For the listeners, this is clearly not a visual medium, but I get the sense that yes, you're going to be a very nervous person before the show.
It really builds into the character.
In character, so that works out. Typecasting.
She's just been method acting her entire life. It's
Yeah.
Audrey.
Just it's all converged in this one moment in time.
She's basically Audrey without the black eye.
Poor Audrey.
and abusive boyfriend and all that. But
Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. It's been, this feels like day 84 of October. October was, I normally love October, but it was a rough month. I'm a big Halloween person. But yeah, it was just long and lots of things going on.
So many deadlines.
Says
Oh.
the high school kid.
yeah,
You haven't worked a day in your life either.
love you.
Hey, well, the work I do is for community service hours, all right?
That's more of a legal issue.
Yeah, that was judge appointed.
Well, not judge a point. Yeah, that's me.
I remember what I was going to ask. We've already heard Jason's from many episodes ago. Do you guys have a superstition or a process?
A ritual.
A ritual, good word. That's a great word. Do you have a ritual, either by yourself or as a group, or maybe both, before you take the stage?
Typically, whenever I'm like, it's usually right before I'm about to go on stage. I'm either like jumping around and like kind of shaking my arms and like just getting as loose as I can. But sometimes whenever it's like right before it and I have a little bit of time, I'm like, but I gotta get it, because I'm just like getting all of the like tongue tied out of there, because I'm so notorious for it and I hate it. So I gotta just get it out of there.
Okay. I mean, that's a practical one, at least.
You're looking for the absurd. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but some people.
Sometimes I like when we get to tech week, I have to make sure I trim my fingernails, because once we start getting to those run-throughs, I don't want to cut my nails because I'm afraid there's a part of the show in there. So I don't want to trim my nails
Gotcha.
until the show is over. So like long run.
No
Because-
essence. It's
yeah.
like growing a beard during
That's right.
hockey season.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't trim it until
Part of the show
you're
is
out
in
of
there.
the
It's been
play.
with me
Yeah.
the whole time.
It's yeah, I have my best rehearsal in these socks, so I'm gonna wear them
Exactly.
for every show.
You get it.
Anybody else?
I
Anything?
mean, the only ritual I have is having a pit in my stomach and pacing around uncontrollably.
For me, it's
Well, as long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
If it works for you, just stick with it.
For me, it's I can't eat at least 3 hours before call time for us to be here, I can't eat. Otherwise, I will just feel sick the entire show.
Sure.
I can't do it.
You have to find some kind of food that agrees with you.
It's just, I think it's just because of the nerves. But as soon as I get out onto the stage, I beat that nervousness.
Well, it kind of kicks in.
Right.
Where you become, the character you've been rehearsing for.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it difficult I'm wondering if it's easier to remember song lyrics than maybe dialogue from I'm getting some
It's in
nods.
song form, so
yeah.
it's very easy to remember personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to remember the lyrics to a song, but there's that added element of remembering if you're singing harmony or melody or where the note is at in the pitch. And, singing is hard.
I think the kicker is when you have dialogue in the middle of your song, which is all of my songs.
There's a breakdown and you say something.
Suddenly Seymour.
All of my songs, I'll start
Seymour.
by singing, and then I talk in the middle, and I go back into singing, and it's a wild part.
So before we get a live band, we always have rehearsal tracks or rehearse score. There are different apps that we have. And the one we have for this show, it's MIDI files. So it's all just electronic tones. And so the way we have to rehearse until we get the live band is we rehearse within the windows that they allow us. So, we have to learn to time something so it works with
the track,
that, but that doesn't mean that's what we're going to do once we get the band. We're like, we'll fix that when we get with the band, and so you have a whole lot of faith that, in one day, that one rehearsal you get with the band before you start doing dress rehearsals, you can figure all those things out. So it's sometimes pretty challenging, but we've got a super talented band, and our vocal director, Abby Halleck, since day one, has been writing down, well, we need to vamp this for 7 measures, and this is going to take this long, and this is going to take that long. And while the band has been practicing on their own on the weekends, she's been there telling them, this is how much time we need here, this is how much time we need there. So hopefully we go into that rehearsal with the band, or as they call it, a sits probe, pretty prepared.
Now, this is a situation where they're in a different room. You're piping in a video feed, or are they live with you?
So this time, the first time since I've been here, we'll actually have the band on the stage. So,
okay.
Yeah, they'll be out of sight. They're going to be hidden inside a building with windows that they can see out of, but you can't see into.
All right, very cool. That'll be different. I know in the past they've had a video feed, and
and that's a process.
Yeah, that's a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Our original plan for the band was going to be put them on top of the roof of a building, but then I feel like, was that not the safest choice?
We'll call him our master carpenter. Was like, because you know how much easier this would be if you don't do that.
Yeah, it's not a load bearing set.
Right. Well, and this show is basically a rock band with 4 horn players, so it's a relatively small pit group. But he's like, you still have to realize that we have to get monitors up there. We've got to get 2 keyboards up there. One of your horn players has 4 different horns. He's like, we're going to have to make 1,000 square foot, space up there for them all to fit on. He's like, why don't we just put them on the ground level? And, I'm like, whatever, Todd, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll go with your vision.
Taking shortcuts.
You're so particular.
Right.
Stop being so safe all the time.
This isn't what's easier, Todd. This is art.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get hurt for it to matter.
And most of the time, it's me.
Are you injury prone? Do we have any sprained ankles from the dances, or?
He's slightly injury prone. I think more of the problem is that he tells people, no, go ahead and hit me as hard as you can, and things like that. So he ends up, with bruised cheekbones and things like that because he told someone to
make
swing
it
on him.
real. Yeah.
I can vouch that is 100% accurate, and I do not regret any of it.
Well, and this is a pretty physical show, too. I mean, we're kind of all over the place, climbing in and out of that plant, and I have to fall so many times. I was looking at my legs the other night, and I was like, what am I doing? Why are my legs bruised up? I was like, it's because I'm on the ground most of the time.
Yeah, there was a show that Justin and I were in years ago that by the time we got to the production, the back of my legs looked like hamburger meat because I was having to throw my legs up and drop down into a seated position from full standing to seated
Wow.
without bending my knees. And the backs of my legs like just purple and black and stuff, but the show must go on.
Yeah, sure.
Maddy, how many bruises have you gotten for this show?
From Zabien or so a lot, mostly because Audrey falls on the ground second act and gets slapped around by Oren Scrivello for specifically Feed Me or Get It. He has to slap me around and call me names and stuff, but at the very end,
Physical show.
yeah, at the very end, he has to put his foot on my lower butt and like kick me, and he accidentally missed one night
Yeah.
And just kicked her.
and just kicked me.
Because he's not supposed to actually kick.
Yeah.
Supposed to just push her.
Yeah.
And I think she took off a little quicker than he thought, and he tried to catch up so he could still do it, and he punted her.
Yeah. It was more of a step into it, and it just did not work.
Yeah, no,
I guess you stepped into it.
No, because I woke up and then there was just a black bruise, and I was like, "How did I get this?" And then I remember Zabien.
Now, mind you, this was before I was wearing the boots for the show that I'm wearing for this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be very lenient this time.
I'm gonna be lenient.
There's gonna be like a boot mark indent on my butt. I'm gonna be so
That
honest.
sounds like the ideal tattoo outline. Just a boot.
Absolutely. A boot
Like, why do
print?
you have a boot mark tattoo? Like,
Along the lines of
Do you know
no
Little Shop
regrets.
of Horrors?
That's where smoking your cigarette.
ever
Well, let me
dated a
tell you
dentist?
about it.
I was dating this
The
dentist
year
guy.
was 2024.
Oh my goodness.
Well, when you get to a certain age, like me, you find a bruise, and your wife says, "Where'd you get that?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." They just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Right? Sleep on the pillow wrong. In the hospital for 2 weeks. When I was 10, I was jumping off the roof of the garage, and now it's if I make a move too quickly or sneeze.
Yeah, getting older is
Throw my
terrible.
back
I mean, I
out.
used to be able to sleep on a step ladder, and now if I don't have the right number of pillows, I can't get out of bed in the morning.
I almost threw my back out trying to push my recliner back.
Yeah.
I fell
That's-
down the
yeah.
stairs yesterday.
Yeah, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, speaking of recliners, that's what I was thinking when you saying, "Oh, you do the voice work." It's like I'd be chilling in the back and have a robe on and a recliner.
People feeding them grapes.
Yeah, just yeah.
No, I can't do the part sitting down.
So you
I have
gotta
to
be
be
like-
standing. I'm constantly moving. I can't stand still while doing the part because it's so much of my energy to bring the voice to the level it needs to be for the character because it's such a big character when it comes off the paper and
Sure.
it has to demand attention from the first two words, and so I can't take it any type of relaxed way.
I really enjoy watching your facial expressions while you're doing the voice. 'Cause it's like we all know that they're not going to be seen, but it's like you're so expressive with it just to get that voice out there.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many times like you've been on stage next to the plant, and I'm trying to react to the plant, but I'm looking at you because you're so expressive. Oh wait,
Sorry.
I got to talk to this thing.
I guess it's better than talking to nothing, like at a green screen.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Well, speaking of The Hobbit,
Yeah, that was Ian
What's his
McKellen.
McKellen?
He said this is not why I became an actor on
Yeah.
the set of The Hobbit. After sitting in a green room for 13 hours, he broke down and cried for a moment in front
Yeah.
of the cast and crew.
it's like this has got to be super weird. I always find it funny when you watch like behind the scenes, like Jurassic Park or something. They've got like it's a dude with like holding up like a dinosaur head,
Right.
Like green.
Or like a tennis ball on a stick.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
tennis
that's what they did
ball,
for
and
filming
you gotta
Scooby-Doo.
scream.
The tennis ball and a stick.
And
that
they
move
have
around.
to interact with
The ones where they have like the morph suits that have like the tennis ball or the
Yeah.
ping
Oh,
pong
Oh yeah, the
balls all
motion
over them,
capture
the
suits.
motion
That's what they
things.
did for Smaug in The Hobbit.
Have you seen that video of Benedict Cumberbatch crawling around? That is one of the funniest videos ever because
Him
he
doing
is,
Smaug's voice. Yeah.
because they like tried to do motion capture for him, where he's just like crawling around on all fours, doing like a face,
He has
and like
face pulled out like this, and it's real close to the camera the whole time. It's so
and
funny.
like he's like turned feral. And I don't.
crawling on gym mats that have been stacked up to be this pile of gold that they're going to CG in.
I don't think they even used that, did they?
They did. They used that to do the facial expressions for the dragon.
but the body was just for fun.
Yeah, that was just for him to get in the character.
Yeah, it
But
was
it's,
just,
I mean, that just goes to show you about the physicality of acting. You know, it's like it's hard to get into this character if you can't move around.
Right.
You know, when they came out with Where the Wild Things Are, they filmed all their they got all of their VO lines acting out on a stage. Like they had, they were actually acting it out, and then that's how they got the VO. They didn't just stand in front of a microphone and say their lines.
Same
So-
thing with Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
They had them actually go to different places around the countryside and film all the scenes out in the wild, and then they used those to do the stop motion to make the expressions closer to the actors.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a whole new respect for voice acting and stuff. I've been watching a lot of stuff on that, and you watch what they're doing, and sometimes the other person isn't there that they're acting with and stuff,
Yeah.
and trying to play off of someone that's not there. I guess maybe you've heard their track, but what if you went first? And so there's just so much that dictates all that, and it's fascinating.
Well, and rarely do VO actors actually get to work with an actual other actor in the booth. It's I used to direct some VO actors out in LA, and it was always like, we're just gonna get your lines, so I'm gonna read to you what the other person is saying,
Yeah.
and then you just got to react to
You
it.
gotta
and,
go.
That was always
I
interesting.
saw some kind of Andy Serkis. When they were shot the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, they had some people that had sent to do voiceovers, and he was the first one who just physically got into it and really impressed Peter Jackson. And then I didn't realize that they, speaking of the motion capture, over the years they developed where they had his face all monitored up, and so for the Planet of the Apes movies, that CGI was mimicking what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So not only vocal but also facial. So yeah, it's a whole different world. I'm sure it's interesting, but I don't know. If I had a microphone and people couldn't see me, I feel like that'd be pretty dangerous.
Whoa. You get none of the blame
See,
for it.
It's hard not to do other voices and just stick to the plant voice, because
Yeah.
once you're comfortable in your part, you want to just try and mess with your co-stars sometimes and mess with the other actors on the stage and just pull different voices. Like, it's so difficult not to do Cartman's voice in the middle of the show just to mess with people.
Every time I make a mistake, I'll start throwing out, Carr says in my Mushnick voice.
And that breaks me. That makes me laugh every time. He'll mess up a line and he'll be like, oh, in his Mushnick voice, and it makes me laugh every
Swearing
single
in
time.
character.
Swearing in character is hilarious.
That was going to be my follow-up. Is this a PG-13 kind of show? Or
There's some language in it. Nothing extremely bad, but definitely some adult language and adult themes. Obviously, he hits her, and the plant eats people, but it's not bloody and gory. They just disappear into the plant and it chomps.
yeah.
Body parts.
Yeah, but it's
Mine specifically.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not using real body parts.
Spoiler
Right.
alert.
Yeah, not using real body parts.
Right, exactly.
Well,
Well, we borrowed them from the nursing department, so
Right, sure.
they could be real.
Shout out to
Right.
the nursing department. Thank you guys so much.
Allied Health.
Allied Health has donated some of their practice
Yeah,
dummies
and
or items.
some lab coats and stuff. They've been really, really awesome and incredibly helpful. They're even well, with the lab coats, they're like, you can keep these when you're done with them and stuff. So I think they've been very happy to help us, and they've done a great job with it.
We probably shouldn't have said that, because I feel like it was a plan for them to be like, oh, somebody stole all of our lab coats. We need new ones.
Oh, no.
That's their way to ditch them.
yeah.
So you got sound effects?
Yeah, there
Going
will
for
be
the-
sound effects and most of it like ringing phones and clock ticking and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but the
So,
plant has a chomp.
It's me.
yeah,
It's just you?
It's me.
I was thinking it was like a Super Mario kind of thing.
like when you go down the
Yeah,
slide.
Yeah. You should. That'd be great. We should do an 8-bit, some kind
8-bit
of
Shop of
some
Horrors.
kind of any kind of show in the future. It doesn't have to be Little Shop of Horrors, but something where
I
all
can't
the
think of a show that would be more suited for 8-bit than
Than
Little
Little
Shop
Shop
of
of
Horrors.
Yeah.
a chip tune soundtrack would be
That would be
hilarious.
awesome.
Bet you could do that would be more chill. That show would work with that.
Possibly. I did want to mention, though, in 2001, Mac did Little Shop of Horrors, and Justin was in that one, and he was the dentist at that time, and I was also in that, and I played the role of Mr. Mushnick. So we're both pretty familiar with the show, but, 23 years removed from it.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah. And while he was living out in California, he actually directed Little Shop of Horrors in the round, which, if you don't know what that is, it's where the audience completely around the stage, and I can't imagine trying to pull that show off.
I didn't direct it. I stage managed, but I was there for it.
Yeah, yeah, I was there.
People are able to boo in all directions.
Right, yeah.
essentially.
But,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
how do you hide someone
Working the
coming out of
puppet.
the back of the plant or working the puppet? And, there's just so much to it, I can't imagine. Like, visually, when I picture it in my head, like, I'm like, well, what about this? And how do they take care of that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was
It
probably a
presents
huge
special
challenge.
problems.
Yeah.
But that's the name of the game, right? It's fun figuring that stuff out.
Well, it's
What
like,
can you get away with?
the characters at Disney can't remove the head to break the magic, and
Yeah.
you don't want somebody to think the plant's not real.
Yeah, yeah.
Ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
Jason, I had a question for you. What's it like directing, like, a vision for a character that you've played?
I
I
try
know
my
that-
best to make sure that I'm not criticizing you for not doing it the way I did it. And I think that's probably pretty common with a director. You have this vision in your head of how these lines should be delivered and what he was feeling at these points and all that, but that doesn't mean it's right. So like I let him do his thing, and I'm like, oh, he didn't do it how I did it, and then I'm like, but it was probably better, and I think for me that's the biggest thing is just letting you be you and do what you want with the character, and just as long as it makes sense, just let you go with it.
Yeah, being able to judge, like, what's just actually bad choices or what's, well, you didn't do it my way.
AKA the right way.
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah, I'll say it. Yeah.
thanks, Brandon.
You set the bar and then just let everybody fall short of it. Whereas me, I like to set the bar super low so that
Keep expectations low.
exactly people ask you to do a lot less if you screw things up. And then when you do something good, it's like, oh wow, they get a round of applause for
Right.
Yeah, you don't want people to high expectations are the worst. So, again, for the 3 people who've managed to listen this far, mafinearts.org. Go there, buy your tickets. Don't show up and find sold out at the door. 21st, was that the first night of the show?
That is correct.
November 21st is the first night. So you got 3 evening shows, and then Sunday is the matinee.
That is correct. And
Oh.
if anyone is interested in helping us tear the set down after the matinee on Sunday, we'll take as much help as anybody wants to give. So that's a big, hard set rule for me is that we do strike until it's done after the last show. If you, you're like, you know what, we'll just do it next weekend. Nobody shows
Nobody
up to
comes
help,
back.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I have you here, we're going to take care of this.
We're going to have some OSHA violations and chain the door shut. No one leaves until this is broken down.
Yeah.
Speaking of rituals, we don't have a Waffle House around here, but anytime I ever had like a late night event, theater or some kind of, it was always a...
Huddle House and Steak and Shake, the classics.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
the day, it was Plank Road Inn.
Yeah.
I learned the
Before my
lines to many a show at the Plank Road Inn.
Yeah.
So there's the Huddle House in Farmington.
Yeah.
And Steak and Shake. I forget those are open. Are those open 24 hours?
I don't think so.
not
They're open
anymore.
late, but not. Yeah.
Steak and Shake is open as long as you get in before 10 and you make the workers stay there, and then you tip them really good. Sure.
Well, I know White Castle drive-thru's open till 2, so you could at least have a little tailgate, I guess.
Yeah, just eat right there in the parking lot. That's fine.
Yummy.
Well, am I missing anything important that we need our listeners to know?
Come see the show. One of us may die.
Or maybe I don't know.
It could be more than one.
More than one will die, but I won't tell you exactly how many.
It could be the entire band if the stage collapses.
I will tell you, though, that the musical, it is different from the movie.
Yes.
The sequence of events is pretty similar. The way the show starts and up to a certain point in the show, it's very similar. There's a couple of songs that aren't in the musical that are in the movie, and I think there's one in the musical that's not in the movie.
So Mushnick and Son, and Now It's Just the Gas didn't
Okay.
make it to the movie, and Mean Green Mother from Outer Space
Yeah.
was written for the movie, but it's not in the original show.
Right.
I love Mean Green Mother from Outer Space.
It's such a good song.
song.
I
It
wish
is.
I got to sing that
It is
one.
a good
I
one.
wish I got to
But
sing that
but
one.
Mushnick and Son and Now It's Just the Gas are two of my favorites
Right,
in
those
the
ones
whole
are
show. So.
really good.
Stop.
Yeah. So, if you're like, well, I've seen the movie 100 times, I don't need to go see the play. It's different. So
Sure.
if
Yes,
you
you
come
do.
watch it, you'll be like, you know what? That was an interesting spin on that. So, and I'll tell you what, I've been very, very impressed with a lot of the things that these folks have been able to pull off. Zabien has been here with us since the first musical we did, and where he was to where he is now as a performer, as a singer, all the way across, he's a completely different person. So, very, very proud of him.
He sheds into a new form every couple shows.
I'm like a beautiful butterfly.
Makes a new cocoon.
And not conceited at all.
No.
But
Very humble, very humble.
and same, with Michael. Michael's been here since day one, and he did theater all through school and competitively, and did very well with all that. And he's kind of a chameleon. If I ask him to play Harold Hill in Music Man, that's very different than voicing the plant in Little Shop. And he was Horton in Seussical, and he's done a lot of big roles here, and he always just adapts and becomes that character. So it's been great working with him. If you come watch this show, you will have a really, really hard time believing that this is Maddy's first musical. And she's really not been on stage a lot of times, right? You've mostly done tech stuff, and she's done a few plays. She's doing a wonderful job. Justin's very seasoned. He did a lot of shows here. He moved out to LA for 18 years.
Yeah.
And was working out there, and so to have him here with us and that kind of experience for these folks, that's awesome. It's a great experience for them. And then there's Ethan. So I'm kidding.
And I'm the worst.
Ethan he's still really young, and the fact that he's playing the oldest character in the cast and he's the youngest out of the principal characters, he's doing a really good job of playing the overbearing, bossy guy that really only thinks about himself. So. I think the last part is a little typecast, but
It just really comes naturally.
right.
It's just an age difference.
Right, yeah. Yep, so he's aging the character up very well, and just everybody in this show, even the people that are only in like the opening scene and the final scene, they're really taking on these characters of being, hobos and homeless people and, living in a shopping cart and things like that. So, and all the help we've had, Todd Mahaney helps us with all of our tech stuff and set building. Abby Halleck is our vocal director.
And one of the doo-wops.
Yeah, and in the
And one of our doo-wop girls.
double duty.
Yeah.
She plays Crystal.
He said duty. And then I'm a child. Our band leader is actually Abby Halleck's father, Isaac Halleck. And so he'll be conducting our band, and we have a super talented group in there. We heard them rehearsing last weekend, a couple of us, and we went in there and just sat in awe and listened to it being played live right in front of you. It's a whole different animal, and the music in this show is amazing. It's one of my favorite musicals, and mostly because of the music. It's all earworm stuff.
Very cool, very cool. And if you're just really into puppetry, come on out.
Correct.
See the amazing.
Or domestic violence.
Yeah.
If that's your thing.
Man-eating plants.
And if those are your two top things,
R-rated
then
message.
have we got a show for you.
Plants, homeless people. What else is
Right,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Shady
really
contracts.
Yeah.
it's really come together for
Peer
for
pressure.
Flamboyance.
for the weirdos out there. This is your weekend.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
I did want to jump off something that Jason said a little bit earlier about the age thing. It's been real interesting playing Justin's father figure at 18 years old. How old are you?
We don't have to worry about that. What are you doing to me right now?
A couple years older. So it's
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
Well, I did mention we were in college in 2000.
Come on.
2001. So, you know,
Ease it up,
Yeah,
will ya?
what are we
I
doing?
will tell you, he's not as old as I am.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been an interesting thing being like, all right, wait, so I have to play it like this, and then like the offstage dynamic completely different than the onstage dynamic. So
Yeah.
As Phil Hartman would say, acting.
so true.
You guys are too young to probably remember.
No, I love Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting late in the evening. Appreciate you guys coming in. It's always fun to talk about the upcoming shows. 21st is the kickoff, 3 nights, and then Sunday matinee. Come out and see it. Enjoy a little treat before you have to hang out with your family during Thanksgiving. And then December 8th, was it, for
Yep. The Hobbit will be December 8th auditions.
audition? I'm always thinking rehearsal. Audition.
Auditions.
I can never think of that word. I need to write it on my hand or something.
If it's any consolation, I do the same thing. So
Audition. So if you want to audition for The Hobbit, December 8th is your day.
Yep.
Yeah, so both of my sons are avid sports kids, and I mean I know a ton about sports, but one time my son was going to try out for a team, and I called it an audition on accident.
Nice.
And he looked at me like he was so disappointed in me. You know? He was like, "Dad, for real, an audition?" Yeah, you're right. It's a tryout. So
Cool. Get your tickets, mafinearts.org. And then I probably won't. It'll be when does The Hobbit run? February or March?
Yep. It'll be February 14th through the 16th.
So we'll probably get together, some cast members, early February, preview that show. But until then, this is kind of the last show of the 2024.
that's correct.
So
Yep.
get your tickets online, come out, have a good time, see the plant.
Yeah, we appreciate all your help with all this. You know, as you say almost every time, if anybody's still listening at this point, you know, but you know, the fact that you're giving us an outlet and you're helping us promote this, and like you said, even just letting us gather around and just have conversations about it, because there are things that came up today that haven't come up in rehearsal, you know, things we haven't talked about because we don't get that kind of personal time to sit down and just gab. So
Well, this is really kind of a safe space.
yeah,
It's the
right,
Safe
right.
space.
it's an old school. So I thought we were in the tree with the nest.
Oh, Horton the elephant. But anyway, thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, it's always a good time. Glad you guys could take the time to come over and discuss a bit. And Maddy, I don't want to say the wrong thing for your first musical, so whatever I'm supposed to say, just imagine I've said that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
And
that was so
then,
nice.
yeah, perhaps some of you might be back if you decide to try out for The Hobbit. Director's really picky, but maybe some of you will make the cut.
Yeah, I heard he's gonna beat you. If,
No, yeah.
do the show.
At any rate, cool. Hope you guys have a good evening, and we'll see you in February.
Fantastic.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later
Thank
on.
you so much.